Money Vikings, welcome back. Thanks for joining. Let's go on our little weekly Bitcoin pep talk. Let's call it that. Here's the way to look at it. If you have been following Money Vikings for a long time and you've been sort of mimicking, we don't give financial advice, of course, but if you've been doing a lot of the things that we have talked about, you have done very well over the years, basically. You have seen your net worth go up quite a bit. You have seen a resilient portfolio that's continued to grow. You have continued to build wealth, et cetera, et cetera. You have managed your debt appropriately. So you have definitely done a lot of things right. My main message right now in terms of Bitcoin would be pretty simple. Now is the time, because the stars for Bitcoin are totally aligning in its favor. All the stars are aligning. This is coming from a guy that's been studying this for 7 years. I have been studying this for 7 years with Jerry, and it clearly is a time where it is absolutely going to continue to go up and going to continue to skyrocket, right? It's almost like pathetically inevitable now, because the whole administration that's coming in is totally aligned. It has a fixed supply of 21 million. There's actually never ever in the history of humanity been an asset that has an absolute fixed supply. So people have strategically over the years gone into real estate or gold or other things, because real estate, it's very hard to increase the supply. It does happen as suburbs expand, as areas infill and build up. So that increases supply, which needs to happen in this country because we need more housing. But as we can see, there are a lot of zoning laws and other restrictions that have restricted supply. So it's like buying Manhattan, as Mr. Saylor says, it's like buying Manhattan in the 1700s or 1800s. It's going to go up in value. And the other one is gold that people talk about. But people forget that even the gold supply can go up. More can be mined. There's probably plenty of gold in the earth, but it has to be pulled out and brought to market and made part of the supply. But Bitcoin is different. A digital asset, a worldwide digital asset that crosses countries and borders, is a really, really fascinating idea. And the bottom line is that the time is now. So my point is this. If you, like a lot of us doing the Money Viking thing, if you have been contributing to the 401k, keeping your debt in check, you own your house or whatever, you're reasonable with your budget. My take is, why not take some and take a chance on something that actually, the more I think about it, is lower risk. The risk begins to go down over time, I think, especially as every institution, if we get a Bitcoin reserve where the United States government buys a bunch of Bitcoin, kind of like it owns a ton of gold in Fort Knox, if the federal government now, the federal government does own Bitcoin through seizures, through Silk Road and these other illegal ventures. So it did seize a lot of Bitcoin. It owns, I think, 200,000 coins. Could be wrong. But if the federal government, it looks like, is aligned, the new Treasury Secretary, et cetera, is aligned to buy Bitcoin and make a reserve of it and make it somewhat like the gold reserve, that is something that helps everyone in a lot of ways. You can see an argument in terms of how it helps the U.S. as a whole, in terms of owning an asset that's appreciating, in terms of being a key player in this ecosystem, and something that is an absolute fixed supply against the dollars that can be printed over and over again, and the supply can be increased. So it's really time. It is. This is the time. And it's one of those things where people think it's high now. I mean, it's going to go higher. We almost know that for sure. It's going to have dips like everything, but in the long run, it's going to go higher. So I'm still of that mindset of if you're in the 2 to 5% of assets, it's a very conservative approach. It's not anything. If the whole thing falls apart and there's absolutely nothing there, which I don't think could happen anymore, then, 2 to 5% of your assets are gone, and you're still going to have a great retirement, and you're still going to live a great life. Not a problem, Now, there's the true believers. They take everything and they put it in, and they will probably be well rewarded for their bravery and their risk tolerance. And a lot of them have been handily well rewarded. So anyway, quick take on Bitcoin. I still think there's a lot of room to run here. And even if someone can own 0.01 or 10% of 0.10, 0.30, or 0.5, you own half of one. That to me is going to be a very valuable investment and return over time, and can help with mitigation of those things like inflation, which are just part of life. And I don't really think inflation is going away. Maybe it's slowed down, but you know what? My whole working and investing life, people forget that I don't think inflation started a couple years ago during a pandemic. The cost of housing has inflated extremely high over decades. The cost of healthcare is extremely inflated over the decades. The cost of education got extremely inflated over decades. Let's look beyond this whole, 3 years ago, inflation got out of control. Yeah, maybe for groceries, but it had been going on for decades for other things. All kinds of stuff's been inflated, daycare, etc. Everything has gone up astronomically. So that's my bottom line take. What do you guys think? Please leave a comment. Please like and subscribe. What do you think about Bitcoin? Are you adding some to your portfolio? Does it have legs? Does it have a future? I think it's pretty clear that it does. And frankly, for those early adopters, wow, good on you. I still think it's early, but the stars have aligned. And whether you hate Bitcoin or love Bitcoin, or you're just somewhere in the middle, the facts have lined up that the stars have aligned. If you look at it, that's the way I see it. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.